Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's another glorious summer day. Bit of cloud in the sky, but we'll take it. It's a beautiful Friday, summer, bit of a breeze just blowing just to keep it nice and fresh, and another awesome opportunity to get out and about. It's lunchtime for me, but I thought I'd use this opportunity to crank out another 5am Club to keep the tally ticking over, because I've got a massive target, but a massive target also means that I'm taking massive action. So thank you once again for joining me on this awesome Friday. And what I want to do today is just go for a little short walk and talk and chat to you about a topic I've got near and dear to my heart, and just try and keep out of the buffeting of the wind. Anyway, this morning I talked about a book summary by Zig Ziglar, How to Stay Motivated. And there was a quote, or there was an observation that Zig Ziglar had in that book, which was remarkable. I loved it, and to a certain extent I hope you'll enjoy it as well. But it basically describes a lot of the sort of challenges that we have around us, and the challenges that people have, and an observation on human behaviour. And he boldly said something which very few people have ever said before, or if they've said it before I haven't paid attention, but he said that most people with a problem don't really want to solve it. How does that sound? Most people who have a problem don't really want to solve it. And you see time and time again, with our circle of friends, with the people we bump into, they have the same old stories which just get regurgitated time and time again. Complaints about this, complaints about that, always talking about how they've been wronged by certain people. And you always ask yourself, why haven't you solved it? Why haven't you done something about it? And what Zig Ziglar suggests is that for many people, those problems, those challenges, that bitterness that they have is something that they've used in the past to define themselves. And whilst it doesn't give them pleasure, it gives them comfort, because it's a constant in their lives. And given that we're living in a vacuous society where connection, friendships are also fleeting these days, friends today, enemies tomorrow, it makes a lot more sense to understand that the reason why people hold on to many of their stories is because it gives them a certain level of definition and comfort. Because having a bad story, having a challenge, having a problem is a lot better than being lonely, forgotten, and just feeling left out of everything. At least if you're complaining about something, or if you talking about something over and over again, you've got something to think about, you've got a level of engagement. Sad but true. And hopefully we can all be careful that we don't go down a similar sort of path and spend the rest of our days just regurgitating story after story of hardship, and how we were let down, and how people have double-crossed us, and all of those things. I remember sitting around the dinner table as a kid and hearing my parents, my grandparents, uncles, aunts, family, friends, you name it. Whenever you got together, the discussion was a very similar sort of discussion about how they'd been wronged by their siblings or relatives in Greece, or how they'd been wronged by a partner, a business partner, or how somebody did this and somebody did that and caused problems amongst their friendships. And it just went on and on and on. And you know, you'd think that life was all about, you know, the past. And sometimes we forget that you know, we've got a past, a present and a future. And by focusing too much effort and too much attention on our past, then we get to miss out on the present and the future. So the other thing that I think about often is that you know, we sit and talk about things all the time. We get emotional, we get caught up in discussions about things which don't really change our lives very much at all, but it's topics which are really emotionally charged. You know, things like the bushfires last year, or coronavirus, or Donald Trump, or vaccines, or 5G towers, or other stuff. Now, we spend far too much time talking about those sorts of things, and you ask yourself, like, what's the value? How does it empower us to talk about all of these things which are, you know, which will be forgotten? In a couple of years' time, you'll be looking back, the bushfires will be forgotten, coronavirus will be forgotten, Donald Trump will be forgotten, you know, the COVID-19 vaccine will be accepted, and 5G towers will be a thing of the past. We'll be probably into 6 or 7G or 10G, and yet there'll be other people talking about how those sorts of technologies are going to affect us and cause us issues. But when it's all said and done, these sorts of bullshit topics are the sort of topics that people need to have in their lives, because if you sit and think about it, what else are people going to talk about at their dinner parties other than these insignificant issues that have been raised by the media, where people have been invited to take a position, an emotional position, and when it's all said and done, who knows? Who knows what the truth is? Who knows what the bullshit is? Because we've got lots and lots of different versions and lots of interests playing out. And at the end of the day, it doesn't change any one of our lives one iota. You know, who cares about 5G? Who cares about vaccines? Who cares about Donald Trump? He had his chance, he had his go, he made his impact on the world, and now it's somebody else's turn. But guess what? The same people, the very, very same people who were up in arms about the bushfires, up in arms about coronavirus, very, very vocal about coronavirus, very vocal about Donald Trump, very vocal about vaccines and 5G, those very people are going to be the people who are going to be complaining the loudest about something else tomorrow and into the future. It's just their personality type. They need to project their own insecurities, problems and issues on some external party, some external event, for one reason or another. I don't know what causes it or why it happens. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm sure there are psychologists out there who know exactly what's going on. But as Jim Rohn said at a seminar that I went to, regardless of who's in government, regardless of how high or how low the taxes are, regardless of how high or low interest rates are, regardless of what the unemployment rate is. There are people out there making money hand over fist and having the time of their lives, enjoying every moment in their lives, because they're not dependent on what the government does. They're not dependent on what other people say, think or do. You know, they've got their own set of values, their own dreams, their own goals. They're marching to the sweet beat of their own drum, and they couldn't give a shit about all of these other topics which are overwhelming and consuming lots and lots of people, and you know, breaking families apart, busting up social circles, you know, all for what? For absolutely bloody nothing, I guess is the bottom line. But what do? As we said, people need to talk about something when they're at a dinner party. They need to project their values and do their value signalling, or whatever it's called. It's just escaped for the moment. But as we said, at the end of the day, it means nothing. It absolutely means nothing. And the advice to young people is to don't take too much interest in all of these distractions, can I call them? Because these distractions are not going to get you to where you want to be. They're not going to allow you to grow and develop and be the awesome person that you're going to be. They're not going to change your life. They're not going to make you richer or poorer. But at the end of the day, they're just, as I said before, they're just going to distract you and keep you spinning in a loop and tilting you away from where you really want to be. I think that's all for me today. It's a difficult topic once again, but I thought I'd give it a crack today. And because it's Friday, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm feeling pretty pumped. So today's the day. So thank you very much once again for joining me. Let's finish up with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, take some time to think about the problems that you've got in your life and try and solve them. Don't just have them there sitting there and using them for your comfort or the constant in your life. Move on, solve them, move on, because we're running out of time. You know, life is going at a rapid pace and we're running out of time very, very quickly. So make the most of every moment and enjoy what's left in our days and our lives from this point on. Anyway, let's finish up, and I look forward to chatting to you again tomorrow from a different location with a different message, and hopefully it'll get us thinking and getting through the day. Take care everybody. Yassas from Jim's 5am Club. Que tal, Bye for now. Ciao.